Hi there, my name is Sterling Tucker. I'm the owner of God's Kratom Kingdom. And I want to make a video about the vein colors of Kratom because there's a lot of misinformation out there about it and it's taking people's lives. And I'd like to be clear, none of this is medical advice or any retard stuff like that. I think it's so absurd that we live in a concentration camp where we're not able to help other people with plants. We're being told to eat eat other life forms, dead bodies, to be healthy when it's causing a heart attack that kills someone every 42 seconds. And there's nothing more unquestionably proven than the dangers of eating dead bodies. And we're simultaneously being attacked and having our children abducted and sold over plants. Literally. It's so mind-boggling to me that the very land that started over the lack of liberty, they are also simultaneously now attacking us over plants, which it just boggles my brain that history repeats the way that it does. But anyway, it's not our job to be subject to handicapped retards. And I shouldn't say that like that, but because, you know, I love handicapped people. They're so precious, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But when humans that are adults are attacking other humans with assault rifles over plants, while they're telling us to eat dead bodies and go murder a random mother, like nature, every animal, whether it's no matter what form it is, if it's chicken, a duck, a cow, it's still a mom. They all still love their babies and take good care of them. And so anyway, there's this misinformation telling people to go eat a dead body, go kill a random mother, and eat its dead body, which it's killing one American every 42 seconds. It's a proven fact that cardiovascular disease and cancer is intrinsically connected to the consumption of dead bodies. And so it's something that everybody should be aware of, and no one should be participating in. Nature is our home, and it's where we all live, and we're all in the same boat together, and no one should be going around and taking random lives because they think it's healthy for them. So anyway, I got to be clear that everything to do with my Kratom business is all in compliance with the wannabe Nazi kids' bans on plants, like Kratom. So our Kratom is distributed as memorabilia, not for consumption. It's also done as a religion now, because I've had multiple, literally hundreds of thousands of dollars of Kratom stolen directly from me by the FDA when it was sent over as for religious purposes, not for human consumption. It was clearly not a food, and it was still stolen. And so that just blows my mind. But nonetheless, I'm not going to sit by and watch everybody drop dead from opioid overdoses and misinformation and just act like it's no big deal. It's a really big deal. It doesn't get a bigger deal than that. Every 11 minutes, someone drops dead because they're trying to lessen their pain with a man-made opioid. Every 33 minutes, an American will drop dead from internal bleeding from ibuprofen. What everybody says, go take, like it's mixed in with everything. They have children's ibuprofen sold everywhere, and it's killing one American every 33 minutes, dying to death from internal bleeding. That's murder. And it's killing more Americans than every terrorist act in human history combined, multiplied by 10. And it's a really big deal. So I'm not going to sit by idly and allow it to all happen. At the same time, I'm not going to subject myself to the retarded stuff that people think that they're able to pull off. Like, this is God's land, and in God's land, plants will always be allowed, period. And I'm so grateful that so many of my customers are military vets, because as an American, it's never been more necessary to protect ourselves and our family than right now. So, all that being said, Kratom has a tremendous potential to help prevent opioid overdoses. I used to be prescribed Oxycontin in Spokane, where I'm from. My friends were all hooked on it, and they would rob people for it. It's a nightmare. It's absolutely absurd what goes on over that. And Kratom is the only way that I was able to get away from being wrapped up in that. And I have scoliosis, I have major pain problems, and Kratom, for me personally, not for other people, of course, because we're in an anti-liberty nightmarica. But anyway, for me personally, it absolutely has literally saved my life and given me a life that I would never have had, and I for certain would have lost. I would have been one of those dead people over time, because my pain levels get so severe to where sometimes I'd rather be dead than hurt so bad. But anyway, it's important that people understand how kratom leaves develop. So I'm attaching a picture here. This is unquestionably fact. If there's no proof for something, nobody should ever even say it or anything like that. Like, this is photographed proof of kratom as it develops. When kratom is young, when it very first starts to develop its leaf and open up, it is red. Its vein colors are red, and the whole leaf is red. As it grows, the color in the leaf part will turn to green and white, and the vein color will still remain red. Then it will turn to white. It'll lose all of that color, and then it will turn to green. That's unquestionably scientific fact. Anybody can go get a picture of kratom and look at its leaf development stages and see that absolute unquestionable fact. For some reason, there's a lot of misinformation telling people the exact opposite of it, and that's a big deal because it's murdering lots of Americans. Okay, people have a major need to be able to prevent their extreme physical suffering. And though kratom is obviously in this camp that they try to call a country, we're not allowed to have kratom, except for me personally and for any American. But it's not allowed to be given to people for that purpose. But for me personally, it's incredibly effective at getting rid of my pain. And the kratom that we have has tested the highest, literally, in the world for 7-OH content. So 7-hydroxymitragynine is the primary analgesic alkaloid in kratom. It's what, according to lab studies, and this is all from Nih.Gov. It's all from medical scientists, that it's 17 times stronger than morphine at blocking electronically stimulated pain using the PD2 scale values, that's how they'll do what's called a hot plate tail flick test. They'll put a nerve on hot plate, and they will see how long it can resist the heat. They'll turn it up until it twitches, and that's how they measure the effectiveness of any analgesic substance. And it's a big deal for people to understand that, because that's what determines whether or not people live or die. To give misinformation that results in the death of people is no different than murdering them. It is a form of murder. And so it's so important that the truth about kratom is told to people so that we can prevent these murders. No, it's not an opioid overdose. No, not at all. Where there's a totally safe, good, healthy route made by God. It's a plant. Okay, we're humans. We're designed to eat plants, not dead bodies. I don't know who came up with that insane nightmare of murdering things and eating their dead bodies. I'm a vegetarian. It's very healthy. All humans should get their proteins from plants. Hemp is a complete protein that has the correct amino acid profile for humans. It also has the correct essential fatty acid profile, EFAs. They're called essential fatty acids, and they are essential for us to consume. Our bodies cannot make them, and we require them for almost everything that our body does. Our brain requires it, our heart requires it, Everybody's heard all this information about omega-3 and how important it is. It is important, but it's important that the right amount of it is consumed in ratio to omega-6 and omega-9. And hemp is the only plant and product on the planet that has the correct amount of omega-3, 6, and 9 in proportion to the amounts that a human needs for optimal function. Everything else is virtually obsolete of omega-3, or some things are ridiculously high in omega-3 but not in omega-6, which can also be bad if people get the wrong proportions of it. Fish is incredibly high in omega-3. Everybody's heard how fish is heart healthy. No, dead fish is not heart healthy, but omega-3 is heart healthy. And omega-3 is in fish. And it's also in hemp. But anyway, people are supposed to get their protein from plants. As a human being, we are plant eaters. We're not murderers. We're not designed for that. It's absurd to me that anybody in nature would choose to go take a life because they think it tastes good. That's just... I can't even understand that. But anyway, as Americans, it's vital that we join together and spread the truth. And especially in regards to Kratom, because it's our country has an opioid epidemic. It's classified as an epidemic. That's a really big deal. That's saying there's a total preventable nightmare here that's causing more dead bodies than people can clean up almost. So every 11 minutes, someone will walk in a room and there their wife is, or their husband, or their son or daughter, or mother or father, dead, blue, stiff, gone forever, because they were trying to lessen their pain with man-made opioid. That's 100% preventable. 100%. Unquestionably. And the only way to prevent it is with the truth. And Kratom is unquestionably the only way I was able to save my life. And so I find it so absurd to me, and I'd like to be very clear here, all of our Kratom is distributed. It's not for consumption, it's for religious purposes, so that we don't have to deal with the absurd garbage of humans thinking that they can murder other humans and attack us and sell our children over a plant. Okay, I don't know how in the land of George Washington and God that I'm having to say these things, but I can't believe that in an era where they have science, they have recordings, they have photographs of showing what happens when humans try to create genocide on a population. For example, telling people not to eat plants and to go eat dead bodies. That's a form of genocide. It's total misinformation, propaganda that's causing more deaths than all of the wars in human history combined. And it's murder. And so it's time for that to come to an end. And together, we can easily do that. And I'm so grateful for all of my contacts in the military, because there's never been a more important time for us to defend our children and our families. I've had in the past, and I've had so much absurd, impossible to believe bullshit from these, and the bad thing is, most of these people, they're not even evil, they're just misinformed. They're not educated. And so, and I don't mean that bad or offensive to anybody, but it's a known fact in the scientific community that eating dead bodies is bad for people. And they're misinformed by being told that that is good for people. It's not. We're designed for plants, unquestionably, and we all need to understand and recognize that and live congruent with it, because it's killing so many people. And it's 100% preventable. And together as Americans, we can exercise our common sense and our right to look out for each other, and we can prevent all of those murders. I mean, because though people are not going into somebody else's house and stabbing them or something like that, they are putting falsified information in their house that's causing that person to end up dead. And so it qualifies as a murder. And so it's time for people to wake up and prevent the loss of millions of American lives. There's nothing more important for any of our existence than looking out for each other and our American rights and our liberty and our health and our children. And together, that's exactly what we always have and always will do. So please help spread the truth about kratom vein leaves and how it matures and how because that's totally what controls the amount of alkaloid that the plant has. So alkaloids are being produced as the plant grows, and as it grows more and more, it has more and more alkaloid content. And that's super important because that's what determines whether or not there's effective analgesic activity. And again, to be clear, all of our kratom is not for consumption. It's a religious thing, and I'm just talking about for me personally, and the information from Nih.Gov on kratom's alkaloids, 7-hydroxynitrogenine, and it's a scientific measure of how it helps as an analgesic substance. And if you go onto our website, there's a page titled NIH about 7-OH, and it has information directly from the medical industry. And again, it's not health advice or anything like that, but it is directly from scientific community, and it's very perfectly put on the truth of kratom. Yeah, because I hope that that history does not repeat in the ways that it has in the past. It's 100% preventable that people suffer and die. And together with the truth and honesty and love and looking out for each other, it's a guaranteed reality. But if we sit by and do nothing, they get worse until it reaches a point where it can't come back from. And so it's our job to look out for each other and spread the truth. Please let me know if you ever need anything. If you ever need anything, you can always text me personally, please. I'm always here for you. If you're ever in a bad place financially, so many people are. I can't believe that people are having to suffer the way that they are. It's so cruel and evil. And so I'm always here to look out for anybody and everybody, and I'll make sure that everybody's okay and that we do everything in congruency with the letter of the law, with the kratom ban, but at the same time, we're also not letting people be murdered. Not like every 11 minutes, and this is a growing statistic, it's getting significantly worse, someone is found dead because they were trying to lessen their pain with a man-made opioid. Every 33 minutes, another American is found dead from bleeding to death internally because they were trying to lessen their pain with ibuprofen. Most people don't even know how dangerous these things are. And it's literally murder when we're dealing with the amount of bodies that we're dealing with. That is so many dead human bodies. Literally mountains of Americans dead every year. And that's 100% preventable with God and God's plans. And so we're here to make that happen successfully. And I'm always here to look out for you in everything that you need. Please let me know if you need anything. Thank you.